Happy Flossmas, my stitchy friends. Hi, it's Laura from Stitching by the Shore. This is a channel all about cross stitch with some paper crafting thrown in too. And we are starting the extra special videos that happen in December that are called Flossmas. So welcome if you are new and you've not been to my channel before. I do regular videos just about every Friday and upload weekly. Every once in a while, maybe Saturday when YouTube decides not to upload my video. And you're in for some extra videos this December as well, if you decide to stick around. And if you're a returning friend, welcome to Flossmas. I hope you like the extra videos that we do this month. Alrighty, so it was almost a no-brainer for me on the very first one that I wanted to do, because I know that it's time to kick it off. Many of you already know the theme, but let's just get official. This video is to talk about the 2024 Artist Trading Card, the Winter Artist Trading Card. And unsurprisingly enough, I'll just throw it out there, the theme is going to be winter. Now, that won't always necessarily happen if we continue to do these, because, you know, we want to try out some different themes and so on and so forth. But that is, it's just a happy coincidence this time around. So let's just jump into everything trading card. Now, I'm going to do just a quick review. If you've never heard of trading cards and you're saying, Laura, what in the world is this? If you're staying, thank you so much, even though you may not know what they are. And for those of you who already know, maybe it's just a quick refresher. I won't go into too many details. I do have a playlist on my channel that is for trading cards. So you can go and you can see different videos about how I've made some of them. I've done like some finish with me's and the details and so on and so forth. But the basic details is an artist trading card is 2.5 by 3.5 inches. That is the parameter. So that's really that's the rule right there. 2.5 by 3.5. Otherwise, we're pretty open, and your creativity is your only kind of border, boundary, whatever you want to say. So 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Doesn't have to be a full stitched section of that, but however you finish it. And again, if you've never done them before, I would suggest you look at some of my finishing videos so you can see exactly some of the different ideas. That's it right there. Okay. Now, depending on your stitch counts, you can have different counts of, let me put that right there for a minute. So for example, a 14 count fabric, your stitch piece couldn't be any bigger than 55 by 49, I believe that. No, 35, excuse me, by 49. That would be a little too big at 55. So 35 by 49 inches, or squares, that would be the biggest your stitch piece could be. And always remember to give yourself a little edge part. But say you do 20 count, now your piece could be 50 by 70. Say you want to do 40 count over 1. You could do a fairly big piece. That's a lot of stitching for a trading card, but you get my point, right? So the fabric count does make a difference in what size piece you can do. So just keep that in mind, because there's some super cute pieces that might just be too big for one count, would work for another, depending on if you don't mind doing stitching on different counts. Okay, so theme, winter. Anything that makes you think of winter. I mean, that's pretty open-ended, pretty broad. I'm going to say that let's stay away from holidays this time around. I think we'll do a specific holiday one later on, but let's stay away from any of the winter holidays. And then this way, you know, if some people don't necessarily celebrate one holiday, I can do some sort of event where we can kind of celebrate all holidays at some other point. So I would ask that if you think of it. You know, you may forget, and that's all right. You know, maybe I trade with you or something or other, just so that I don't send something to somebody who may not celebrate a specific holiday. But basically, other than that, anything that makes you think of winter. Okay, so we'll talk deadlines and information, and then I want to show you some ideas and things. I have 2 things stitched up that are not made yet. But I'm hoping to think about them as trading cards, and then a couple of other patterns that I have that are starting to turn the wheels of trading cards. Okay, so the you know what? Let's show one little one first, because you know what? There's a lot of talking. Let's do a little tiny bit of stitching too. So do you remember this one from last year? I stitched this guy. In fact, look I already have the interfacing on the back of them and everything so that I can finish. I'm starting to get an idea of what I want to do for finishing. I'm not quite there yet with it. So that's why it's not finished, to be honest with you. But he's ready to go. He came from, I found it. For the longest time, I couldn't find the pattern that I had stitched him from. So this is from Trellis and Time, and it's called Welcome Winter. And basically, I just took this little piece of it and stitched him up. I am not sure, if I look at the pattern, what's the width of the pattern? It is 40, probably about 45-ish or so. Does it say anywhere else? But oh, it's 43 wide. Now it's 53 high, but if you take out all of those words, you might actually even be able to stitch the entire part of it. Because then it's 10, 20, 30, depending on your count of fabric, because that's maybe about 40 or so. So you can see, I decided just to do this little guy, but and he's going to be a vertical. Your trading cards can either go horizontal or vertical. That really doesn't matter. But if you did this whole piece, for example, that would probably go more along the horizontal lines. So he's to come. Like I said, I've got some ideas that are finally starting to flow in my brain. So I think I might have, otherwise in my head, I'm thinking of all the things that may not work of that. But we'll see. I really, really would like to get him done for the swap. So that's one right there. So you're saying, well, how long do I have until I have to send this on to you? So what we did this past swap is I had everybody send them to me. And we had an amazing 100 pieces that we swapped. And then basically I picked names. I took names of all of the people who had sent them in. And if you sent in 10, your name went in 10 times. If you sent in 2, your name went 2 times. And I picked you up and I paired you out. Your names were all over the floor. I was crawling around on the floor for weeks. And then basically, once I had all of them, I took them and I found your pieces and I swapped your piece with whoever's you were going to swap with. And then they all got sent out. So I am asking you to mail, and I understand if life happens and you're a week or so late or whatever, just reach out to me and let me know so I know to know what's coming. But I'm asking you to mail by February 1st. I figure today is December 5th, I believe. So I know December's busy, but maybe you have a chance to start thinking about patterns and ideas, and maybe you have a free moment to stitch and you can start thinking about it. But then once the new year starts, you'll have all of January to also stitch and finish and so on and so forth. So I figured that would be a good idea time-wise. So I'm asking you to mail by February 1st. This is open worldwide. And I was a little bit late because I underestimated the amount of time all that crawling around on the floor would take. But my hope would be to mail them March 1st. If life gets in the way a little bit with me, I would let you know. I think I was 1 week late in mailing them, but I believe I said so on my video and so on and so forth. So I will be open and honest about that when hopefully we won't need it. Hopefully March 1st will be it. But those are the guidelines for that. And like I said, if you're coming from the other end of the world, just let me know. Please do your best to do mail by February 1st, and just give me a heads up maybe, just so I know that it's coming. And you can contact me through Instagram. You can contact me through Gmail. My Instagram and Gmail will be below in this video. I do have a Facebook page. It's called Stitching by the Shore. You're welcome to post questions or reach out. I don't understand the whole message process on Facebook, and I always miss messages. So I'm starting that with a caveat. Usually every single one of my responses on Facebook is, I'm so sorry, I didn't see this message. And then I answer whatever. So keep that in mind. You are more than welcome to try to message me, but I don't always, I don't understand it. I don't get notifications and I don't see it. So, but that's neither here nor there. But you are not required to be on my Facebook page. Uh, no, you are always welcome to participate without having to be part of something else. As long as you're just part of our Stitching by the Shore community, you are all set. But reach out to me, or maybe, I don't even know what day February 1st is. It could be a Sunday for all I know. So, you might not get to the post office for a few days. Let me know. No problem. I didn't know how many were coming in. I give it that month just to let the post office kind of do its thing. I'm hoping then, since the rush of all of the holidays will be over, that they might be a little bit, kind of keep things moving, so to speak, and nothing gets lost. But that way, it's always a surprise for me. So I won't know until I go to start sending them out or start pairing them up. Usually the week before is what I'll do, is I'll pair up, because then I'm pretty sure of how many people have participating. I can pair up the names and the cards and go from there. Now, how do you get them back? So if you're in the US, the easiest way is to send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. Okay? And you can just put it in your envelope with your trading card, and no problem. Sometimes a few of you, instead of, they sent me an envelope, or and then maybe they sent stamps and just did some stamps. That's fine too. I have learned there is a special, I think it's a bunny, but there is a special stamp that the post office put, that you pay a little bit extra for it, but not much. I was really kind of pleasantly surprised. And it tells the post office not to put it through the machines. It's actually a hand sorter stamp, which, who knew? I learned something with that. So, depending if you're worried about your stuff going through the machines. And what I did was I brought all of them to the post office. That mail man, he was so wonderful and very patient. And what we did was, anything that was thin enough that we knew wouldn't be a problem just went through. And then there's the little handy dandy plastic guide, and he would have me check if I would basically put them through, and if it caught at all, that means it would catch in the machine. And I'd put that to the side and have him put, I would get the extra stamp for you, and then have it go. So it shouldn't have been it should have been hand done, not machine done. And there was a few I thought that needed to be, but he was like, nope, they're fine. So he was kind of like the final question on that. Now, if you are international, let's chat about it. I found that PayPal seemed to work well, if PayPal works in your country. I think it does in most places. I know that, like, one individual, instead of doing that, she sent me a gift card, a small gift card to a shop. Surprisingly, I'm going to say this, it is for just letter size. Now, packages are, of course, much more expensive, but letter size, letters are not super expensive, I have to say. So you all were extra generous. Some of you sent extra stamps. Some of you sent some money. You were also generous. I was really pleasantly surprised, though, that the actual letter part of it was not super expensive, even though I sent across the world. So, there's a few of you that probably gave me enough for at least another swap, if not two. So, we'll chat and reach out. And what I can do is I can put the information in, and I can tell you what it's going to cost me in US. And then, we can just do the conversion or whatever, and know what that would be. So, that way we get that done. And if you forget, there was like one or two people that forgot because they were so excited to send their stuff off. Don't worry. Really don't worry. Or if you know what, after the holidays, even just a little bit of that extra is just a bit too much that you can swing that moment, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I want you to still participate, and I will take care of it on my end, okay? So I know sometimes the mailing stuff is a little complicated. I'm happy to explain if you need to reach out to me, and we'll work and figure out, because I want you to feel like you can participate no matter where you are, because I had a lot of fun, and I think a lot of other people did too the last one. So let's make sure you can all have fun if you want. Let's show another piece of stitching while we're at it. So this one I put in the last stitches for this. Now, I'm not sure that this is going to be the trading card at this point, because this is part of what I was stitching for an ornament. It came from that, so you get a little sneak peek of some of my stitching for this week. It came from the Just Cross Stitch 2023 Christmas Ornaments issue, okay? And then to show you it easier, those pictures are ridiculously small, right? So my handy dandy iPad always comes in handy. This is the one that I've been stitching, and it's called Decorating Owl. It's in the magazine, and I think it's super cute. So I would love to do that as an ornament. Well, I got to this point today and I said, you know what? I'm going to stop because it's super cute the way it is. It could be a really cute small ornament this way too, a little rectangle. But look, the only thing I didn't do, well, there's some, you know, just single stitches up here as snowflakes. And then down here, you've got snowflakes that are hanging from the branch. I haven't done all that yet. I also thought maybe I wouldn't do that. And if I wanted to make an ornament, just do some single snowflakes up here. I thought that'd be kind of cute. But wouldn't this be a super cute stitch? This is done on a navy, if you're wondering. A super cute stitch for a trading card. It works size-wise. What I'll do sometimes too is I'm not sure, and like this I've already done after the fact. So I put it over my, and what I can do too, which is also helpful sometimes if I'm doing a finishing. Now, of course, usually you can see through this fabric, but let me see if I can, if I was to hold it up to a window, I would be able to see where the borders were, and I'd have an idea of where to cut my piece right here. Isn't this, look at this. This is how I keep my extra pieces. But that would work super cute. And that's from, if you have the Just Cross Stitch magazine, you'd be all set. And I'm sure there are other ones in there. I know, I'll show you something maybe at the very end to show one more piece of stitching. These are the only two pre-stitches that I have potentially for the swap. I'll show you one that's a Christmas one I did last year just to finish things up. But I'm sure if you look and you pick, there might be some other things you could do. All right, so that's another option for a trading card. Details. I kind of mentioned this already. If you send more than one, you will receive more than one. So however many you sent, you will receive back. My name goes into the bowl just like everybody else's, so I don't know who I'll be swapping with at any given time. If you're like, well, Laura, I know how to stitch, but I have no clue how to finish. You are not alone. I am so proud of so many of you who were in that boat with the first swap and you did it anyway and you gave it a go and a try. I would suggest you go back and you look at my videos in that playlist. There's only maybe about 5 of them. And I did one with glues, and it should say it, recently. So if you're curious about what glues to use and things like that. And you can always look at the other ones at your leisure if you want. I also did a video where we went through each and every card that came in for the first swap. All 100 of them. And I talked about different elements and different things people did. So that is a great resource if you're not sure how to finish yours and you want some ideas. I got so many ideas because all of you were so creative. I loved it. So I would highly, highly suggest you look at that if you are thinking about doing this, but you're a little nervous about the finishing part. We're all here to help you if you have any questions. And I think that a couple of those videos would be really, really helpful. And, you know, find a paper crafting friend. They'll help you too. Alrighty. Now, the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to show you another couple. I have this pattern that I was thinking of potentially using. It is a it's Sugar Stitches, excuse me. And I was just going to do the house, I thought. And then I had some ideas on how to finish it. I thought that's super cute. I think with the trees, it would be too big. But I think the house would be a cute little quick stitch. And that would be a totally different color palette than, say, some of the other ones I've done. Then also, my friend Lisa from Lost in Stitches, she has recently been designing, and she put out these winter snow minis just recently. Well, look at that one. If that does not scream winter, I don't know what does. I think that would be so much fun as a trading card. I don't know the exact numbers. Sometimes what I do, I'll be honest with you, if I'm thinking about getting something from Etsy and I'm not sure if it'll fit for a trading card, well, if I've expanded it, I can count Lisa's stitches from top to bottom and side to side, and I'll know what the stitch count is. If I don't, this one is fine because I'm sure she gives a stitch count. Her listings on Etsy are quite, they give a lot of information. But say I wanted to do just the cardinal. Well, her stitch count would be for the whole piece, right? So I would just make this cardinal bigger, and then I would just count from top to bottom and side to side, and then I'd know whether or not that would work. So that's a little hint too. If you're looking at some patterns and you're thinking of pulling different things out of it and you don't have the pattern yet, just literally just count their stitches and see how it works. And then you can decide whether or not you want to get the pattern. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I don't think so. I'm going to finish off with just one more little stitched eye candy. I stitched this one last year. Last year we hadn't, no. Was it 2 years ago? No, it was last year because we're in December now. So yeah, it would have been last December. At that point, we had not done any official swaps kind of thing. I was just trading one-on-one with people. If they sent one, I'd send one back. And I had stitched a few of these for the holiday and sent them back to others. This one came, this was part of a pattern from last year's, I believe, 2022 ornament issue. I think there were words underneath it and so on and so forth, and I just didn't do that part. And so this one was stitched. I did fussy cut it, and I added a few different elements there, and it's a finished trading card. So again, pick pieces out, do little parts of things. You don't have to look for a pattern that is exactly the stitch count, you know, no matter what, or this size, depending on the fabric you use for stitch counts. You can mix and match. Pull something from one place. Some people made stuff up, which I thought was awesome too. They're more creative, I think, than I am. I'm not sure I'd be ready to make up a pattern, but I thought that was fabulous. You can make it fun by maybe just using a variegated floss, and it's a simple design, but the variegated, you know, depending on the variegation, it can make it this beautiful piece. Maybe you have a little tiny scrap of opal fabric and you want to make something sparkly. So many different things you can do. And I hope these were some ideas for you. I would love, love, love for you to participate, and I'm hoping you'll think about it. And if you participated before, I hope you'll be back again. And I had a blast, and I hope those of you who did it or may do it this time around will have a blast as well. So that's about it. If I forgot something, which I probably did, feel free to ask, and I will, any questions that were really vital information that I've completely forgotten, I will answer in my regular FlossTube videos, because I do always do like a little chat about questions or things that, you know, that I might have forgotten, or things I want to talk about in my videos. So just keep a lookout for that. I'll certainly ask, but if I get a ton of questions for something specific, I will definitely be like, whoo, totally missed that boat. And I'll make sure I answer it in a couple different ways. All right, so that's about it. I hope you'll join me, and hopefully we'll see what happens with this little guy, if I can figure it out in my brain. But until the next Flossmas video, happy stitching.